type 2 diabetes complications are as varied as the 24 million Americans who suffer from the disease. Just as the disease itself can develop slowly so that many people do not even know they have it, so too can the complications. However, these complications can be so severe as to become disabling and even life-threatening. Type 2 diabetes symptoms are also a wide array. You may suffer from extreme thirst and frequent urination. Blurred vision is another common symptom, as is slow to heal illnesses and cuts or bruises. Losing weight without even trying to do so is another symptom, as is tingling and numbness in your hands, feet and toes. By leaving type 2 diabetes untreated or even undiagnosed is to risk your very life. Type 2 diabetes complications can put your entire body system at risk. Excess blood sugar can cause damage to blood vessels, causing damage to your arteries and even lead to a stroke or heart attack. Many people with undiagnosed or poorly treated type 2 diabetes also risk having kidney damage and nerve damage. Your muscles and liver that normally use sugar for energy can lose their sensitivity to the hormone insulin. This is often referred to as insulin resistance, which in turn causes your pancreas to produce more and more of the insulin hormone, leading to a vicious cycle. Having too much blood sugar in your system can also damage your vision, called diabetic retinopathy. You may notice red or black spots and floaters. Chest pain and shortness of breath are also common type 2 diabetes complications. Type 2 diabetes can also lead to osteoporosis, which leads to lower than normal bone density and in turn increases the risk of falls and broken bones. When type 2 diabetes causes nerve damage known as diabetic neuropathy, it can lead to tingling and numbness in your hands, feet and toes. A cut or blister which gets infected can become a serious issue and can even lead to having a toe, foot or an entire leg being amputated. Type 2 diabetics are even at greater risk of developing Alzheimer and vascular dementia. There are two theories as to how this happens. The first theory connecting diabetes to Alzheimer is the idea that being a diabetic causes dementia by blocking blood flow to the brain or causing strokes. The second theory suggests that too much insulin in the blood leads to brain-damaging inflammation, or a lack of insulin in the brain deprives the brain cells of glucose needed for energy. All of these complications and many more can be a scary thought when being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. However, type 2 diabetes complications can be reduced by following your doctor's recommendations regarding diabetes treatment and by following a type 2 diabetes diet. The three major food groups in a diabetic diet are carbohydrates, proteins and fats. Carbohydrates provide fuel for the body, and more than fats and proteins have the most immediate effect on the blood sugar, as they are broken down directly into sugar very early in the digestive process. There are two kinds of carbohydrates, simple and complex. Simple carbs consist of sugars, such as glucose, sucrose, lactose and fructose, and are found in refined sugars and fruits. Complex carbs are starches, which are just simple sugars bonded together chemically. Complex carbs can be found in beans, nuts, vegetables and whole grains. Complex carbs are considered the healthier of the two carbs, because they are digested by the body slower and thus provide a steady source of energy. It is important for diabetics to follow the recommended amount of carbs at each meal, in addition to the proteins and fats. The amount of carbs a diabetic should have at each meal varies depending on a number of factors. These factors include age, weight, gender, level of activity and your goal. For type 2 diabetics who are normal weight, a good rough estimate for carb intake would be half your total calories. For overweight and obese diabetics, you would, of course, need fewer carbs per meal. It is recommended, however, that even obese diabetics never fall below a total of 130 grams of carbs total for your daily intake. This would include your meals and snacks as well. You may find it's helpful to keep a type 2 diabetes journal to help you stay accurate as to your food intake and for counting your carbohydrates. A diabetic journal is also very useful for maintaining a record of your blood sugars tested at home in order to share with your doctor. You can find carbs in a variety of foods and should not get all your carbs from the same source. Fruits, milk, yogurt, cereals, rice, pasta and starchy vegetables such as potatoes are all sources of carbohydrates. By following your doctor's recommendations, eating a healthy type 2 diabetic diet and keeping good control over your blood sugar levels, you can take the steps necessary to avoid type 2 diabetes complications. Learn more at type-2-diabetes-complications.com.